stay tuned because for the next 60 minutes, Motorsports Unlimited is on the air. Hi, I'm Jerry Bryant, and these are the lovely ladies of motorsports. And all this hour, we're going to have 60 minutes of action-packed excitement. All kinds of exciting things will happen. And we got the famous Bill Wildt, and we got all kinds of other good stuff that's happening all this hour. Motorsports Unlimited, 60 minutes of non-stop action. So let's go to the studio right now, huh?
All right! Thanks, Jerry. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the studio headquarters of Chicagoland's hottest TV series. I'm Carl King, and this is the 373rd episode of Motorsports Unlimited. Guess what? Spring has sprung, and like spring flowers, area racetracks are starting to open. In Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, that means stock car racing.
And he's making a move on Tony Betts on the inside.
Okay, we know Lake Geneva Raceway also hosts motocross and off-road events. Heck, they even oval track mini pickups.
Well, Tillman closing it up. Dunn and Cotler, door handle down the chute. The Chevy and the Ford. Dunn on the inside. Cotler working high. A couple of laps remain. Cotler not giving him anything to work with.
Oh, very cool! But somehow, spring and racetrack openings seem to conjure up visions of stock car racing. So on today's program, we're going to bring you the first sights and sounds of spring.
Jim Taylor out in front. Baumeister back in the hunt now. Joe quick to the inside. Picks off Colson. Now he's going to see what he can do about Darnell. Moves up into the 4 spot.
Let's join Bill and the girls on a very windy spring day as they wait just outside of Lake Geneva Raceway for the season's first sound of racing engines.
Well, I learned something on the way up here. Reggie, you don't know the difference between a stock car and an Indy car?
Well, call me silly.
No. That's exactly what I want to know because I want the folks to learn about motorsports. And we've got some new girls on the program. Now, Lisa, you know about stock cars and Indy cars, right?
Kind of.
Well, maybe I've got a lot more work to do than I thought I had to do. Marilyn, how about you? Stock cars, Indy cars, do you know the difference?
Come on, Bill. I'm the new kid on the block.
You really don't know?
Give me a break.
Oh, my, Kimmy, you 3 years with us, you know.
Yeah, I do.
And, of course,
Yeah.
Crystal's husband is a motorsport person. Okay, we are in a very few short minutes going to hear something that is very important to us males, and I shouldn't say just males, everybody that's a motorsport enthusiast. What do you think that's going to be, Lisa?
We're going to hear something?
As a matter of fact, if you listen real carefully, you can hear it now.
No.
Sound of the engine.
What?
The sound of the engines.
That's right. It's a rite of spring for the motorsport community. What we are going to hear is the sounds of the first racing engines. We tried to do this a couple of weeks ago when we went out to LaSalle Speedway and got rained and snowed out. Kimmy, you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, but today, other than the wind, it's blowing like crazy, but it's like 70 degrees. So today, I think we're actually going to see some racing action. So let's get inside. And if the audience didn't take it all in, by the way, we are at Lake Geneva Raceway, and they've got a full stock car program, including something called their Mid-American stock cars. We'll find out about that when we get in there. So, I'll tell you what, windy enough?
Very windy.
Everybody,
Like Chicago, Bill.
it's just like Chicago. So everybody together, ready? Do it.
Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
Despite the wind, we were all looking forward to seeing some racing action. But first, because we have so many new girls, Bill wanted to take a moment to help them understand a little about how auto racing works, beginning with pre-race inspection.
Girls, do you have any idea what's going on in there?
They're checking the weight of each side of the car or something like that.
That's not all they're checking. I want you to step over here a little bit, just like this. Now this car is done. Now you see the man standing over there with the hat and the other fella? Those are the technicians that are watching each car. Now step forward a little bit, and girls, I want you all to see this. You see on the floor what they're pulling the cars over? Those are the scales. Now they just went a little bit too far. They went past the scale. They're going to have to roll it back a little bit. Right there. All right, now they're on the scales. Marilyn, have you heard anything like this before?
Not really. Only maybe a rocket taking off or something like that, Bill.
Okay, what's happening, folks, is one of the cars they just inspected is started up. He's going to be pulling out in a second. But I want you to look over there and see what they're doing. It's more than just weighing the cars. In addition to weighing the cars, there are a number of safety inspections that they have to make. And they're going through all of those things. They'll be looking under the hood, checking things in the engine, in addition to checking that the car reaches minimum weight and has the proper left and right side balance. I am not sure what division this is. They have a big Mid-America program tonight and their late models, and we're going to find out through the course of the program exactly who has to go through this extensive procedure. I couldn't help but notice when we pulled up over here, there's a huge long line of cars on the outside of this thing waiting to be inspected. I have a suspicion that may be for this special Mid-American stock car program, but we're going to find out. Do you have any idea?
I have no idea. There was a tremendous amount of cars here, though. I don't know.
No, I am overwhelmed at the numbers of cars here. There's an amazing number of cars. Now, by the way, just so you know, step out here, Reggie. I want you to look at the car. Now, do you see what we have here? This is a stock car, not an Indy car. Now, do you know how an Indy car looks?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, this is a stock car. You good? Step back in line. This is a stock car. They have full-bodied, and generally what these would be called is this is closed wheel racing. And what that means is, it's quite frankly, that the wheels are covered by body work, as opposed to Indy cars, which are open wheel cars, or sprint cars are open wheel cars, and midgets are open wheel cars. Stock cars are closed wheel cars. Does that make any sense at all?
All I know is they sound a lot like my car when I start it in the morning.
Okay, we want to get out of their way, as I can see now. As a matter of fact, I almost said Chuck. We've got John Kuchon here on camera tonight. John, if you can go back to the car. They've just pulled the hood off now, and they've got a number of inspections to do under the hood. And again, I'm not sure if this is because there's a special program here tonight, in which we will find out, or if this is a matter of every single week they have this many cars and they go through this extensive of a tech procedure. So, yes.
Do you think that part of it has to do with the great weather we're having today? Maybe bringing out all the racing fever in everybody?
Well, it might be. It also might be because this is the beginning of the season. I know they've raced 2 weeks before this, but this is really the beginning of the season. So it could very well be that because it's the beginning of the season, there's very extensive checks. Now, I want to ask, none of you guys are cold, are you?
No, not at all.
No. What gives it away?
They want to put the coats on, and I won't let them quite yet. Please, everybody together, tell the folks.
Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
When we finished up at the scale, Bill spotted a racer he talked to last year that turned out to be quite a surprise and wanted to do a follow-up interview. Let's meet him.
This was one of the most amazing and interesting pieces that I did last year. We were out here last year. I spotted this gentleman who is obviously not 22 years old anymore, as am I, not 22 anymore. And I saw he had a really nice late model car. So I said to myself, oh, there's a guy that's either been in it all his life or he's approached a time in life where maybe he'd like to dabble in this stuff a little bit. We did an interview with him. He seemed very serious. He had a little road racing background. If you'll notice, I'm sure you can't see it on our camera shot, he's got Porsche on his driving suit, which means that he maybe came from another kind of racing, which we found out he did. All that's old news to our regular viewers. What's new news is this guy isn't dabbling. This guy is bullet fast. I couldn't believe it. He immediately, after we got done with the interview, he went out and won the heat. Later on, it looked to me like he had a chance to win the feature and got involved in a violent crash while really going fast. First of all, I want him to reintroduce himself. You are?
I'm Dennis Shipman from River Forest, Illinois.
Have I got the story right so far?
Pretty much so.
Except I'm leaving out the big part, right?
The big part.
Go ahead, tell him.
We got a few feature wins under our belt last year.
Boy, I am not surprised. You were absolutely flying out there that night. And you know, when we're standing here in the pits before the races, and I've never seen anybody run, I really don't know how fast the guys are. I couldn't have been more impressed, and it makes me feel, perhaps at my age, that I ought to be stepping back into a race car. Do you mind telling our audience how old you are?
I'm 52.
52, and I'm 51, so maybe there is still some hope, huh?
There always is hope.
Okay, I talked to you a few minutes ago, and you said something amazing has gone on here this year. And John, if you can, I want you to broaden your camera shot. The pits are absolutely full. I want the audience to see that. There's no more room here for cars, and I mean great cars are here. And you said you're going faster this year than you've ever gone before, but so is everybody else?
Everybody is going faster. The quality of the cars, the quality of the drivers has picked up substantially. Every year it gets tougher and tougher. We get better and better, but it gets tougher and tougher.
Okay, and that's sort of the idea of motorsport.
Well, I think so.
Sure. Now, give us an idea. We see all these cars lined up by the scale tonight, and I understand they have some kind of a Mid-America stock car division, which I guess is not usual here. You guys are the regular Lake Geneva late models. Can you give us our audience an idea of what that's all about, both divisions?
Well, Mid-America is a class of automobile which is a step down maybe from the Lake Geneva late models.
Kind of to reduce costs a little bit, to bring engine costs and tire costs down?
That's the idea, although I think they're starting to run away with it again.
Although they look like very expensive, gorgeous race cars, yes.
They are very expensive. They do travel. Their circuit is as long as ours in terms of weeks. We run about 24 weeks in a row. They'll run about the same thing, but they will travel from track to track to track. They'll be around here, I believe, 3 or 4 times this year in Lake Geneva.
You'll be here every week.
We'll be here every week.
Are you going for a track championship?
I would like to go for a track championship right now. I'd like to be in the top 5 this year.
I mean, from what I saw last year, unless that was an unusual night, you're more than capable of it. I mean, I'm not just stroking him, folks. This guy is really fast, and if you're going to be here every week, you might just have a shot at it.
Well, we will try. It's very, very tough. Very good drivers here.
Okay, Reggie, this is all new to you. Are you kind of getting the idea of what's going on?
A little bit. I'm picking it up as I go along.
Okay, and Marilyn, how about you? And I want you to ask questions if any of this doesn't make sense to you.
Well, Bill, I'm just kind of confused. There's so many different kind of cars around here. But can you explain to me what a stock car is? I don't know.
Okay, we've got a perfect guy here because this guy did road racing and sporty car stuff. The girls didn't even know the difference of a stock car and an Indy car. Give an idea, what is a stock car?
Well, a stock car is an American-made, American model automobile. Our cars are not stock by any means. They are stock appearing automobiles, so my car would be skinned like a Lumina. Other cars are skinned like a Thunderbird. They are skinned like a Camaro.
Right, so essentially what he's saying, Marilyn, is that these cars have to look like cars. Now, if you'll step out here, this might not be immediately obvious to you, but take a look, for example, by his knee there. You see the headlight?
Yes, I do, Bill.
But it's just painted on.
I know, so what good is it serving? What purpose?
The purpose it serves is it makes it look like a stock car. That is supposed to look like a Chevy Lumina, and if it didn't have headlights, it wouldn't look like a Chevy Lumina. This car has to deceive the inspectors, and that's probably the wrong. Go ahead and step back in line. That's probably the wrong way to say it. It's not really a matter of deceiving the officials. It's a matter of you are living within the rules and making the car.
Correct. We live within the rules. There is a template that we must fit under in order to qualify. They may throw the template.
Wait a minute, Reggie, do you know what a template is?
A what?
A template? You just said it has to fit a template. Do you know what that means?
Have no idea what's
Step out here. Come on out here. Come right on out here. Right over here. Now, I want you to look at the profile of the car. Profile of the car. The hood, this, and like this. What they do is they go to a dealer and find one of these cars, and they make a template that fits that shape out of either aluminum or plywood. Then these cars, if he comes out and says it's a Chevy Lumina, they bring out the Lumina template, and it has to fit the Lumina template.
So these aren't actual cars that are changed into these cars.
No, these are not.
All made specially for this.
Every piece on here is hand built. I would go ahead and go on back. I would guesstimate that there's not a single piece. I would guess that there's not a single piece on this car from General Motors.
Well, there may be a few mechanical pieces on the car from General Motors.
It's still a Chevy Lumina.
So it's still a Chevy Lumina.
It has to look like a Chevy Lumina. That's the idea. Now, as we go on tonight, you guys will get the idea more and more, and I want to wish you the best of luck, Denny. Again, I couldn't have been more impressed last year. This guy, folks, bullet fast. I'm not kidding you. Watch him for the championship in the late model division this year. Thanks for spending a little time with us. I want to keep everybody in the act. Please don't run away. So let me come on down here. I left these girls out of it the entire time, and nobody on Motorsports Unlimited stays out the whole time. So if you guys would, tell the folks.
Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
Even though the sun was bright, it was getting cold, but Bill wouldn't let us put on our jackets until we introduced ourselves. So let's take a moment to meet the girls on today's program.
Hi, I'm Crystal Kuchan.
I'm Lisa Ford.
I'm Reggie Lorenz.
I'm Kim Donahue.
And I'm Marilyn Fuller.
Thank you, girls. Now, with the jackets on, let's take a look at another of these first-class late models.
All right, do they have gorgeous cars here or what?
Yes.
I don't know where to pick. There's just one after another, but this thing is beautiful, and the color goes with your costumes. So first of all, you are?
Brad Durbin.
And where are you from?
Lyons, Wisconsin.
Tell us about your car.
I just bought it this year. It's left-hander, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without my sponsors.
Okay, wait just a minute. It's a left-hander. Do you know what that means?
No idea.
Left-hander is a chassis manufacturing company that makes chassis for stock cars, and because all oval tracks are left turns only, thus left-hander. Have I got it about right?
Yep.
Okay. This is a late model car, I presume.
Yes.
Okay. Is this your first year in late model? Because you seem very young.
No, this is my second year. I started last year.
And what do you think? How'd you do last year in the points?
It was sort of shaky. My funds were limited, so this year I got some more help, so I'm gonna try and give her a go.
Okay, are you gonna make a run at the championship, or are you still away from that?
No, I missed the first couple nights to try and put the car back together, but we're gonna try real hard.
Okay, what do you have to run in this division out here in the late model division at Lake Geneva Speedway? What do you have to run for an engine? What are your limitations?
Ours is a 410 limitation, but they also allow us to run concept motors, which brings the people from Slinger and Madison down here also. So.
Do you run those tracks too, or just Lake Geneva?
No, they don't let us run up there, so that's sort of limited.
Okay, I wish you the best of luck for the season. You got a beautiful car. It's really nicely put together. We left the girls at the other end out of this far too long. I don't like to leave anybody out of the picture. Don't run away. I've got to get down at the other end and close this, and I wonder how this goes with my jacket. John, what do you think? Girls, again, I'm sorry I left you out so long. Marilyn, how about you do this? Please tell the folks.
Okay, don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
Next, we spotted one of Lake Geneva's top late model drivers sporting a new look. Watch.
Years ago, when I used to race motorcycles, flat track motorcycles, we had a rider called Dave Aldana, who in addition to being a talented rider, also had quite a sense of humor and had a set of leathers, if you're familiar with the motorcycle racing leathers, done up like an entire skeleton outfit, black with the white skeleton. Well, we've got a guy here that does late model stock car racing that apparently has a similar sense of humor. First of all, you are?
Fran Preste.
And where are you from, Fran?
Silver Lake.
And by the way, real quick, before we go any farther, we just recently did a show about these terrific new Legends cars, and I want our Midwest audience to know that even though they're from Charlotte, North Carolina, and the Humpy Wheeler and all that thing, right here in the Midwest, you guys make the bodies for them, right?
That's correct. We make them. We make all the Legend car bodies in Twin Lakes in our factory.
Okay, well, I think that's great, and I think that's a feather in the hat for those of us in the Midwest that they had to come to us for that kind of stuff, but I won't ask you to comment on that. I'll do the puffing up here. Now, if you would, I'd like you to step forward here. I want the audience to see this because not only do we have a driver's suit, this is what I was talking about, that looks like a tuxedo, and I assume this is a regulation fire suit.
Right, it's a double layer Nomex.
Okay, but not only does it look like and have the bow tie and everything, if you would turn around, I want the audience to see that this thing also has tails. So if you would step back, so you are all set for any kind of formal race.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, now what I'd like you to do, we talked to you last year. We know you're a late model driver. How did you end up with points last year?
Second.
Second in the championship points. Now, who won it out here?
Bob Brownell
Okay.
from Cary. He was from Cary, Illinois.
Okay, I'm not surprised. Those guys are very, very fast. Yourself, do you have a shot at the championship this year?
Yeah, I'm leading now. I won last week, and I'm ahead by 100 and some points, but you got a whole long season to go, and who knows, you know?
I'm going to tell you something. We just talked to a couple of fellas here. They say they feel like they're going faster this year, and when they got here, they really thought they were going to hit, and apparently everybody is going faster.
Well, we've had ideal weather conditions. That's the main thing, and everybody does their homework over the winter, so things will get better.
Okay, and John, if you would, take a shot of this gentleman's car, and I can see, no, you can go right ahead and keep working, guys. We don't want to slow down the pit crews. I see your crew is working, even if you got time to talk to us. Tell us about your car. What have we got?
It's a new Thunderbird. It's basically the same car I had last year, new sheet metal. It's got a It's powered by a Chevrolet engine, though.
Okay, we've got all kinds of questions here. We've got girls that have never been with our program before. He's telling us that this is a Ford Thunderbird, except does it have a single Thunderbird part on it?
No.
Does that make any sense?
Almost, sure, considering the rest of the stuff I've heard today.
Don't make any sense to you?
Well, I don't know. Why wouldn't he just get a new car instead of going through all the trouble?
Well, good question. Why wouldn't you have a Thunderbird if you're going to race a Thunderbird?
Well, what it is, it's an exact duplicate of a Thunderbird, but it's made in all lightweight materials. You try to get everything as light as you possibly can. So basically everything that's factory is too heavy, so everything we use is aftermarket.
But you're going to have to really do some tall explaining on the Chevrolet engine.
Well, yeah.
I know the answer to this one.
It's a lot of money to build a Ford, and they just don't make as much horsepower. You can get as much horsepower as a Chevrolet, but the cost is probably double.
Okay, here's the problem, girls. The small block Chevrolet engine has become the absolute workhorse of the racing community, whether it's boats or cars, even airplanes use small block Chevys. And because of that, every kind of aftermarket part that you could possibly imagine is readily available for small block Chevys because everybody's done them for so long. Thus, to take a Ford engine and make the kind of power that these guys have been able to develop out of the small block Chevys would cost a fortune. So, have I got it about right?
Yeah, well, just to give you an example, like an engine that's in here is 15 to 20,000. If you did a Ford, it'd be about 30,000.
How much?
30,000 for a Ford.
So you're talking almost twice as much.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just practical to go with the small block Chevy engine, even though we're going to call it a Thunderbird, and you'll notice we've got Oldsmobiles out here, and all the rest, they're all small block Chevys.
Yeah, I don't know of anything else out here other than a small block Chevy.
Yeah, I don't either, and it just makes sense. I know it's not going to make sense to the regular viewing public. I wish I could explain it better, but trust me, it makes sense. Thanks for spending some time with us. I know you've got to run. Please don't run away because we've got to close this first. And Lisa, why don't you tell the folks?
Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
We mentioned earlier that mini trucks are a regular class at Lake Geneva, but I spotted one with an unusual twist. Join me as I inquire.
I gotta tell you, this is my first time here. I am so excited. Would you tell us your name?
Sue Bone,
Sue Bone, where are you from?
Lamont, Illinois.
Lamont. Can you tell us how it so happens that you're racing trucks?
Well, I've done other types of racing, and I've decided to try this for one, just to see what it's like.
How long have you been racing the trucks?
This is my third night out.
Wow, are you serious? Oh my God. Well, you're gonna do great. We wish you luck, and I'm gonna hand it over to Bill, and he'll take over, okay? Bill?
Okay, real quick, Lisa, what'd you talk to her about? I couldn't hear anything.
This is her third day racing. She's brand new.
I know that, but it's not exactly. Did she tell you she road races?
No.
Okay, let me get down here because this is an interesting story. This young woman is a road racer, and you road race Corvettes. Do I have it right?
That's correct.
Okay, most of the time, and our regular, the non-motorsport viewers won't understand why that's a big deal. The big deal is generally people that do road racing, that means left and right-hand turns, wouldn't look at an oval track, and those that do oval track racings wouldn't walk across the street to look at a road race track, and yet you are taking on this challenge. What are your first impressions?
My first impression is I thought I was going to get dizzy going left all the time, but it's pretty neat, and I haven't finished last yet, so I guess I'm not doing too bad.
No, not at all. And what I tell folks all the time is because we cover all kinds of motorsports, and what I always say to everybody is they're both cool, they're just different, and I don't care how much road racing experience you have, it does you almost no good for oval track, and how much oval track experience it does you almost no good for road racing. Do you want to embellish on that?
That's very true, because the first thing is the cars are set up so differently, they handle so differently that in itself is a major adjustment to get used to.
Okay, now I want you to tell us about your truck, and John, maybe you can take a shot of it while we're talking. What have we got here?
It's a Nissan truck, and I run on BF Goodrich tires. It's basically stock, but set up with the wedge that the other trucks run.
Okay, and as a matter of fact, and I see you have a question, I want to mention one thing that I should have at the beginning of this interview that one of the unique things about Lake Geneva Raceway is that they do run a weekly mini truck program. I don't know anybody else that does, do you?
No, I don't. This is the only one that I know.
Yeah, and it's very, very popular with the spectators. The spectators seem to really eat up the trucks. How do you happen to be then, coming from a road racing background, road racing Corvettes, how do you happen to find yourself at Lake Geneva Raceway racing trucks?
Well, actually, to be honest with you, it was kind of a challenge from somebody who's kind of helped us out here. So he wanted me to try it, so I said, okay. I said, I'll give it a shot.
Oh, I think, I'll tell you the truth, I think people that don't try all the forms of motorsport are cheating themselves.
Oh, I agree.
You can learn from every one of them and take some of what you learn back to the other. Am I right?
I think I'm going to be, when I get done here, I think I'll be much more aggressive in my road racing than...
That's one thing oval tracks reward is aggressiveness.
Very, very, very aggressive.
Smoothness doesn't count for a whole lot.
No, it doesn't. No, it does.
Okay, Lisa, you got a question, please.
I noticed that the trucks don't have racing slicks, and I want to know why.
Okay, she's asking that the truck doesn't have racing slicks, and John, maybe you can get over and get a shot of the rear tire or something to show that it's got tread on it. I assume when you mentioned they had BF Goodrich tires that they have a tire rule that they have to run. Help us.
It's a street, you have to run a street tire. And right
a DOT
now,
tire.
A DOT tire, right. And so I believe Hoosier has a tire and BF Goodrich has a tire. It's the rules that Lake Geneva has set
not allowed
up.
to run a slick.
No slicks allowed.
Okay, you were asking why a slick would be better, correct?
Right.
Okay, the reason is, and I'm going to give this real quickly because we've done this before in the program, but we've got new girls here and I want you guys to learn. Does that make sense to you, Marilyn, that a slick tire would give more traction than a treaded tire?
Well, Bill, really it doesn't, but I wanted to ask her one question, if I may. I admire her being a woman out here with all these guys, and how did you ever get into this?
Okay, I'm going to pick up on that. Let me finish the slick question first. The reason is because all of the traction that any tire gives is the amount of rubber that's touching the ground. If you have ideal conditions, for example, no wet weather, no dirt on the ground, anything like that, like on a paved racetrack, which is what they race on, you want a slick tire because that puts the most possible rubber on the ground. As soon as you start cutting in there and putting grooves and treads and things in there, that takes some of the rubber that would normally be on the ground. It takes it away. The only reason you put treads in a tire is so that you have room to squeeze the water out so that when you're running along on water like you would on the street, if you had slicks, it would aquaplane real quickly and the car would slide all over the place. So they give it the treads so the water can squeeze into the treads and the rubber can touch the ground. The idea is to get the rubber on the ground. Do I have it about right?
That's about it.
Okay. She wants to know how you take on all these guys. Do I have it right and how she reacts to that?
Well, I can't say.
Well, first of all, let me answer. First of all, I'm going to tell you something. In motorsports, we welcome everyone. We want everyone to come to our community. We're all very enthused about the motorsport community and our activities, and we welcome everyone with open arms, including women, and the more women we can get out here racing, the better we like it. So I'm sure you haven't run into any resentment.
No, well, just a little bit, but that's normal. I mean, in any type of racing, because when I run with the Corvettes, I time myself, although they have men's and ladies classes, I time myself against the men because the ladies, there's not the competition there anymore.
Oh, don't say that.
It's not.
No, I know that. I didn't want to say it.
No, I'll say it because it isn't. And this is a challenge, and I don't see why women should be able to drive just as well as men if they have the same type of equipment.
I agree completely. There's no reason, and we say that over and over again in our program. If the women are interested out there, call us, come to the racetracks, ask. Everybody would be glad to help them come in.
That's right, they do. And there's been a lot of guys that have come over here and actually helped us out and talked to us. And even out at practice, they've come out and said, well, try this or try that. And that's really helped a lot, too.
So you're saying come on in, the water's fine?
You got it.
Okay. Please don't run away. I got to keep everybody in on the act. We've got two down here that have been out of this the entire time. And I have to drive these guys home, and if I don't keep them in on the act, then I'm in trouble. Girls, I know you didn't hear anything, but please, close this piece.
Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
As we were moving our equipment away from Sue's mini truck, I spotted a beautiful late model that I'd seen before under different circumstances. Let's have a look.
I've been around for a while. I remember you from the Lakehurst Mall Car Show. How you doing? And your name?
Good, Landry Potter,
And where are you from?
Lake Geneva, Wisconsin.
Lake Geneva. Well, we saw your car on show. Are you ready to do some driving?
Oh yeah.
All right. Are you nervous?
Well, if somebody didn't tell you they weren't nervous, they're lying to you, so yeah.
They're lying. How about, what have you done to your car since we last saw you?
Well, opening night I won the main event, and last week we had a little wreck, but it's back together, so this week we're hoping for better.
Wow, he won the main event and got the car back together, and he's all ready. Oh my God, that's great, Bill. Did you hear that?
Lisa, as always, I didn't hear a thing from over there, but did you identify that this is the gentleman we spotted at the Lakehurst Mall?
Yes.
Not just saw him at the Lakehurst Mall, but this car, and John, if you take a good wide shot of it, this car won the overall champion there. So this thing is something of a showpiece, which is obvious when you look at it, but in addition to that, apparently it gets around the racetrack okay. What do you think so far?
It's working out pretty good. We're second in points, and this is the third week of racing, so we're hanging in there.
Have you qualified yet tonight?
Yes, I have. I qualified third.
That'll put you in a dash.
Sure will.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
So this is not just a pretty face over here.
No, it goes pretty good, too.
Have we worked out a first name for you yet?
No, it's the same still.
Landry. That's not a... Have you ever heard a name like that, Landry?
Only, what is that guy that coaches that team?
That's a last name. He uses it for a first name. That makes no sense at all. Tell us about your car. What have we got?
Oh, it's a 93 Grand Prix body. The chassis is about 8 years old.
Okay, he says we're trying to teach our new girls. This is a 93 Pontiac Grand Prix, except there's not a single part on it from a Pontiac, right?
Right.
Does that make sense, Marilyn?
I still can't figure it out, Bill.
I've been trying to explain it to our audience for years. It doesn't make any sense at all. Anyhow, what do you think? Do you have a shot at the championship this year?
Well, I'd like to hope so, yeah.
Okay, if you're running second in points and you qualified third in the program tonight, and I got to say, do you have any idea how many cars there are here tonight, how many late models? Because the place looks packed.
I would say there's got to be roughly 30.
I would say at least 30, because I know they've got 43 of the Mid-America stock cars, which is another division from yours. They're filled with the mini pickup trucks. We've also got a street stock division. I'm not sure if I'm saying the name right. Help me, something else?
Yep. And sport truck. I don't know if you covered that. I didn't hear that.
Well, I didn't. I'm getting dizzy. There are so many cars. The place, and John, if you can, widen your shot a lot and swing around here. I don't know if the audience is going to be able to see this. Sometimes it doesn't always look the same on television. This place is absolutely packed tonight. I don't know how you ever get through qualifying.
Well, it's going to be a little bit longer here yet because now we got 40 of them cars to qualify yet.
Exactly. Well, listen, I want to wish you the best of luck. The car, it is not often we see a person that takes such pride in their equipment as you do that also goes really, really fast. Apparently, you're among the best out here. So we wish you the best of luck this season, and hopefully toward the end of the year, maybe we'll catch up with you guys, find out how you made it out, and congratulations on winning the Lakehurst Mall Car Show, too. That's not an insignificant achievement. I want to keep everybody in the act, so let me get down here at this end. Thanks for spending time with us. Get down here. What do you think, girls? We're talking about a car here that won the Lakehurst Mall Car Show, so it's obviously a show car, a show winner. Plus, he's second in the points already this season, and he qualified third tonight, so he'll be in the trophy dash. Not bad, huh?
Not bad at all.
Okay, I'll tell you what, Reggie, why don't you tell the folks?
Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
Lisa wasn't the only one piqued with excitement and picking cars. Reggie got in on the act too.
I tell you, it's getting a little chilly here tonight, but the cars are hot and these drivers are ready to go. Let's meet this gentleman here. Would you care to introduce yourself for our audience?
My name is Bobby Gears.
And where are you from?
Ingleside, Illinois.
I'm to understand you have quite a fan of yours here today.
Yeah, that's my mother. She's up top in the tower.
And she keeps all your stats for you every race?
Everything.
How long have you been racing that she's been following you in this?
This is my 8th year. She's been with me the whole time.
Well, that is just great. I'm going to hand this over to Bill. He probably has a few more technical questions for you.
Again, I'm sorry if the audience has to hear this over and over again. I didn't hear a thing because we are at an active racetrack and we got all kinds of noises. I assume you got his name and where he's from?
That is correct, Bill.
Okay, did you talk about his mother yet?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I want to make sure that I mention this point. First of all, Bobby, how did you end up? We interviewed you last year. This is one of the absolute top guys out here. How did you end up in the points last year?
I think we ended up 13th.
Okay, and the fellow that you were running with when we got all those great shots, the guy from the Victor Motorsport, help me with his name again?
Tony Benz.
Okay, is he out here again this year?
Yes, he is. He's pitted down the other end of the pits tonight.
Are you guys going at it tooth and nail again?
We'll see. We may tonight.
Okay, what I wanted to say is that there's nothing that pleases me more when I see real family support for the racers. This stuff is hard. You literally have to devote your life to it, correct?
More or less, yes.
And then when you've got somebody, his mother keeps the specs every night?
Everything.
I can't tell you how valuable that is, that you don't have a family that's saying, oh, what are you wasting your time for and all that. You got somebody that supports you, is behind you, and helps. I would assume you really appreciate it.
Very much, very much.
Okay, what are you trying to accomplish, Bobby?
We're trying to finish in the top 5 this year in points.
Where do you want to go eventually? If I can wave a magic wand, what does Bobby Gears end up doing? If you want Dale Earnhardt's seat, I want you to say it. I want you to dream big. Nothing wrong with that.
I'll take his seat.
Okay, you're not interested in something like a Ayrton Senna seat or...
Open wheel cars don't do anything for me.
Okay, now, Marilyn, you're hearing that? He used the word open wheel cars.
Yes,
That's very important in the motorsport community. These guys that run closed wheels cars or full-bodied cars, there's some real ferociousness between them and the open wheel guys. The open wheel guys will put signs on their cars that say real race cars don't have doors. Am I right?
I've seen a few.
You guys don't agree with that at all?
No.
No. As a matter of fact, as you get to know motorsports a little more, you'll find out how much rivalry. It's actually a little stupid because this stuff is all cool. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would, yes.
Okay, well, listen, we want to wish you the best of luck, Bobby. It's the beginning of the season, and if you can take a shot of the car still looks like it's brand new. Did you redo it over the winter?
Actually, it's the same cars we ran last year. We just did some body work on it and painted it.
Because it looks perfect.
Thank you.
By mid-season, it won't look so nice.
Probably not.
Okay, anyhow, thanks for spending a little time with us. I want to keep everybody in on the act. That means I've got to come down to this side. Come down here. What do you think? Tell the folks.
Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back. Oh, God.
You're cold.
Next, we spotted a big-time boat racer walking around the pits, having a look at the field of cars. Let's meet him.
We found an old friend of Motorsports Unlimited. I'm going to have him introduce himself, but it's Nick Gaglione. Please tell him your name and where you're from, Nick.
Nick Gaglione from Hinsdale, Illinois.
That's right, and our regular viewers will recognize that this is the fella that had that absolutely gorgeous, how would we say, an offshore boat called Matchless?
Yeah, it was a catamaran, offshore catamaran boat.
Called Matchless.
Called Matchless, correct.
Okay, if you will remember, when we did the Southside Racer show last year with Christy Young and some of the other guys, we didn't have the Matchless boat anymore, and it's because you'd suffered some serious injuries, but I want the audience to know, not as part of a boat racing accident.
No, it wasn't, had anything to do with boat racing or car racing. It was a passenger in an automobile.
And we're laid up for close to a year.
11 months.
Okay, he looks like he's getting around just fine now, so the question is obvious, Nick. Why aren't you racing something?
I give it a rest for a while. I broke a lot of bones in this accident, so I figured I'll wait for a while and see what happens.
But for some reason, you find yourself at Lake Geneva Speedway on a fine, not quite summer evening, so the interest must still be there.
It is. I used to drag race at this place years ago. And so
That's a long time ago.
I know, a long, long time ago. So I come back to see what's going on.
Well, as I understand it, though, when we talked, you also have great interest in oval track racing and road racing and boat racing. It seems to me you're a guy like myself that likes all this stuff.
All phases of racing. I mean, can't be without it. I have to do something.
So, for those that know Nick, here's my observation. I think he's kind of looking around and maybe he's sticking his finger in his mouth and sensing the air. I think you're looking for something to do.
Smelling the fuel, looking around, smelling tires. I'm getting a little nervous.
You are a racer.
I am, by heart.
Oh, boy, I'll tell you, it feels good, doesn't it, have a little warm weather and some sunshine and some engines?
Absolutely. I can't be without it.
I'll tell you what, it's always, I don't know how to say this, it sounds so corny. It makes me feel young again all the time. It's sort of, every season when this happens, it's invigorating. Do you know what I mean? Or?
I gained a little weight. I got to lose some weight now. I got to go back racing. That's what I got to do.
Nick, thanks for spending some time with us. I'm glad that you're feeling better, that the accident didn't take you out at least forever. I suspect that one of these days we'll be talking to Nick in front of some other kind of a racing vehicle. We'll look forward to that. Thanks for spending time with us. Lisa, please tell the folks.
Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
Before we run out of time, we wanted to show you one of the fine Mid-American stock cars, and Crystal found one of the best.
Well, we're enjoying the last rays of sunshine here, so we're going to interview this gentleman. And can you tell us your name, please?
Eddie Hoffman.
And can you tell us what kind of car this is supposed to be?
Well, this is a Buick Regal. It actually is an old Bush body off of Bobby Dodder's Bush car, and it's a Mid-American stock car with a 94 Buick body on it.
Well, let me tell you, I'm not going to go any further. Bill, come on in here because he just said a mouthful.
Yeah, he sure did. He said a bunch of stuff that I know you guys don't have a guess what he was talking about. He said this is an old Bush car. You don't know what that means, do you?
Not unless he's talking about beer.
That's exactly, in a sense, what he's talking about. Bush sponsors a series that's kind of the support series for the great Winston Cup, the big petty guys and all that. And so when he says the Bush car, this is a very first-class piece of equipment. But he also said it was a Buick, right?
Buick Regal.
But there's not a single Buick piece on the car.
No, probably just a hood in the trunk.
And if the truth were known, that really came from a Buick?
Yeah, and once NASCAR, you have to use stock panels.
Oh, okay. Well, then I thought it was glass panels or something. Okay, what we want to talk about first of all is I understand that you're last year's champion in the Mid-America Stock Car Series.
That's correct.
Okay, John, as we're talking here for a second, I want you to broaden your shot, just pan around here a little bit. I understand there are 43 of those cars here tonight.
Yeah, there's a lot here, 43, and there's more coming. A lot of them are being built.
Well, I want you to explain what exactly is, now, again, this is going to be confusing for our audience. We're at Lake Geneva Speedway, and Lake Geneva Speedway has their own late model division. They also have a sportsman division. They have a street stock division. They have the mini truck division. I think there's one more, too. But you guys are in here as an extra thing tonight, and as I understand it, you're sort of a traveling road show going from racetrack to racetrack. What exactly are you guys?
Well, Mid-American stock cars, it's sort of real close to a sportsman car, and actually here they've adopted the rules of our series to fit their sportsman cars so that the guys here can race with us and we can come here and race with them, vice versa.
Okay, as I understand it, the object of this is to reduce the cost of and the audience should know, we've done extensive programs on the late model dirt cars. A good late model dirt car is $50,000 a pop right now. The pavement cars, they've kind of restricted them a little bit, so the pavement cars, to do a good pavement car, you're still going to have to drop at least 30 grand, agreed?
Oh yeah, that and then some, because that's what my dad used to do.
Okay, what kind of dollar sign are you trying to get to with these cars? Because I've got to be honest with you, as I look around, these do not look inexpensive at all. Have you lost the ball already?
Well, that's what they're trying to do, is being expensive. They started that way, and like anything, it's starting to creep up there. But you can get a car like this race ready on the track for under $15,000.
So far, it's still accomplishing the task.
Yeah, so far they're doing a pretty good job, but like anything, people are always looking for that little bit more.
Exactly correct. Now, I want you to go, and as John takes a little longer look at your car, give us an idea of the engine, displacement, what you're allowed to do, driveline. You know what I'm asking?
Sure. Yeah, they're trying to keep it inexpensive, and they're trying to keep basic with the rules. Pretty much all the cars are 108-inch metric frame. That's the 78 to current Monte Carlo Grand Prix frame and suspension, so you can't change any of that. It has to be stock off the street. That is one way they're keeping the costs down. The rear ends are 4 9-inch, which are stock rear ends. You find it in the boneyard, so that's another way to keep it down. No quick changes, no trick transmissions. Got to be a stock off the street transmission like out of an old Corvette. And the engine, that's another set of rules, but it's basically Chevrolet or Ford, but cast iron, stock crank, stock rods, that sort of thing.
So you're not allowed to run titanium rods, titanium valves?
No, none of that. All stock casting heads and so on.
Boy, it'd be pretty hard to monitor for titanium rods.
Well, they have an inspection hole on the pan, and they take a magnet to it, and then titanium a magnet won't stick to, so that's one way they do that.
Oh boy, they're serious about finding this stuff.
Yeah, they have quite a bit of tech people and quite a bit of tech work, and they do a pretty good job.
Marilyn, are you understanding what we're talking about here? This is something we fight in motorsports all the time, because motorsport is a labor-intensive sport. You can't do this with push-ups and sit-ups. So because of that, you've got human beings standing in front of milling machines and lathes and heliarc machines. It runs the costs up enormously. And this is tried over and over and over again to make this within reach. $50,000 a pop race cars are not within reach. So these guys, and these are gorgeous cars, and you've seen them on the track, you see how fast they are, and yet they've got them down to about a $15,000 cost. It sounds like a lot, but for race cars, it really, you get what they're trying to do?
Well, Bill, I think for what you're talking about, it sounds very technical, but it sounds like a good deal if you're talking about $15,000.
As opposed to $50,000.
Yeah.
And even more than that if you're talking about a Winston Cup car.
Oh, yeah, they're in the millions for a season.
Exactly. It gets very, very expensive. Yes, Crystal?
Don't you think that will help to get more people involved in racing, too? I mean, if it's within a budget?
Well, I have a feeling that's why they've got 43 cars here tonight. That's quite a field.
That's the whole idea, is to keep them inexpensive, keep them looking good. They've got a lot of sponsors for the series because of that, and they're already out of the double-digit numbers or into the hundreds as far as people getting numbers and signing up for the series. We've gone to tracks last year like Elkhart Lake, the Milwaukee Mile, so we go to some pretty neat places and we put on a pretty good show.
Okay, and how many times are you going to be at Lake Geneva this year, do you know?
Twice, once now in October for that classic race.
You know, I can think of one thing that's really good about Lake Geneva. It's the thing that I always liked when I raced. It's the only track that I know of that you can come on a Wednesday night and practice any kind of race car. It doesn't have to be a Lake Geneva race car. You can come. Oh, they're waving me down. We'll explain this at a later time. Thank you so much, Eddie, and best of luck this season. Are you leading the points yet?
Yeah, I'm leading as of the last race.
You're the winner from last year?
That's right.
He doesn't need my good luck. He's got plenty of luck. Thanks for spending some time with us. I got to close this thing out before we run out of tape. Let me get down here. And girls, close it for me.
Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
We run out of tape at the darndest times. Let's go back to the pits and let Bill finish his point about practice time.
All right, we are running out of light here, and they're starting the program now. I just wanted to pick up real quick on the thing I was mentioning about the Wednesday night deal, because this is something all racers ought to know about. You don't have to run at Lake Geneva Speedway to take advantage of this. Any kind of race car. It has to be a race car. You can't bring your street car or hit or play or anything. This is for guys that are serious about racing. Any kind of race car. If you run dirt tracks, if you run midgets, if you run sprint cars, any kind of race car that runs anywhere can come out here on Wednesday night and use the track to practice and sort their vehicles out. It's the only track I know of like that. I know I spent many Wednesday nights out here sorting out my race cars, and I just wanted to make sure that we got that part in. Now, Lisa, this is all pretty new to you, and it's been so confusing. They have so many cars here. Are we making any sense of this for you at all?
Yes, I think I understand about how they make a car look like another car, but it's really the meat, the engine, is something else.
Okay, Marilyn, are you learning anything here tonight?
They take regular cars and they make them into regular.
No, other way around. They take cars, they build race cars, and make them look like regular cars.
Okay, there you go.
Yes.
They also learned that it's all left-hand turns here.
Yes, oval tracks. All oval tracks are left turns only. That's when you see a chassis manufacturer like Left-Hander. It means because they make oval track cars, and the oval track cars are left turn. What do you think, Reggie? Are you learning anything?
Are you kidding? I'm ready to get out there and race with them.
Okay, real quick, what has happened here now while we've been doing these interviews is they had practice, which is really a time for the guy to check their gearing, their suspension, readjust their cars and all that. Then they have qualifying. Everybody goes out and makes a qualifying lap or two, whatever it takes, and then they line up the races according to how they qualified, and they just right now are bringing out the trophy dash, the late model trophy dash is what's out there going around right now. So we've got to move our camera so we can get some action footage. What they do is the trophy dash is the fastest 6 qualifiers in each of the division goes out there for a quick either 3 or 4 lap sprint race, and these are called trophy dashes, and that starts the program. So if you guys would, I hope this all makes sense, please tell the folks.
Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
With a record number of 105 race cars on hand, the action was hot and heavy all night long. As an example, let's watch what happens to Mid-American stock car star Eddie Hoffman, number 16, at the start of their feature race.
And the green is up, it's 3 wide down the front strip. 3 wide down the front strip. Pulls the top into the back. Jason Hicks off the track in the 63 car. It looks like a red car down there, Eddie Hoffman in a 16.
Following a complete restart, Eddie Hoffman began an inspired drive from near the back of the field.
Look at that race. Little contact with 7 that time around. The battle is for position number 4. There's about 7 or 8 cars in that pack.
Eddie Hoffman drove an incredible race and took over the lead with just a few laps remaining, but on the last lap suddenly lost power and was drilled from behind.
1 lap to go. Hoffman slows down. He's lost power. Oh, he's hit from behind by Scott Warren. Both cars still moving.
Some days, things just don't go your way. The Mid-American feature win was taken by Jim Duco. Congratulations, Jim. Now, hold on to your hats because it's time for the Lake Geneva Late Model feature.
And we're underway.
As you watch this footage, remember that Lake Geneva Raceway is a legitimate 2-groove track, meaning you can race high or low with equal success. Let's watch as our friend Dennis Shipman in car number 41 starts making his move to the front.
Now, Bruce, this is challenge on the inside. Look number 19, Jen Burkhoff. And Mike Simon out of shape on a third wheel. Back up and there goes Jim.
Ooh, that was Bobby Gears, who you met earlier, spinning to avoid number 78, Jim Swan. Both drivers were fine. Now, let's get back for the restart as Dennis Shipman continues his pursuit of leader Don Collins in car number 4.
Inside of Jay Maywald, doing that guy by. Maywald holding on to the 5th spot. Presté trying to take it away. Larry Simonson trying to get up underneath Don Collins.
Now, watch carefully as you will be able to see how quickly things change in motorsport as Dennis Shipman, number 41, moves in on Don Collins, your leader, in number 4, who experiences mechanical trouble and suddenly the entire battle is reformed with tuxedoed Fran Presté joining the fray.
Holding on for the 2nd spot. Denny Shipman in 41 still holds. Tags up with Collins. Problems on the number 4 car. And Don Collins losing power. Down along the flash wall. Let's hope he can get it off the track. He's trying the best he can. And he takes it wisely down the crash road. Fans, a big round of applause for Don Collins. He didn't have to do that. He could have made this thing difficult. Don Collins doing a very gentlemanly thing.
You sure can't leave your seat at a stock car race because things change so quickly you'll never know what's happening. Let's return as number 99, Fran Presté, puts the pressure on number 72, Larry Simonson.
Presté on the inside. 20 laps are in. Presté goes to the inside the track on Larry Simonson. Looking for his first ever feature win. Presté looking to take it away and make it 2 in a row.
While Fran Presté and Larry Simonson were engaged in their furious battle for the lead, Landry Potter has tenaciously moved up to 4th place and is beginning to pressure Dennis Shipman for 3rd. Watch.
Ryan on the inside of Larry Simonson. Presté out in front. Simonson back into 2nd. And Simonson now back on the hunt as he's going to try to do it. Presté is the leader with 4 laps remaining. Shipman in the 3rd spot. Landry Potter all the way up in into the fourth position now. Ken Burkhoff in fifth. Maywall in eighth. Hagno in seventh. Benz in eighth. Bobby Gears in ninth. Mike Simon in the 10th position. Bullmeister in 11th.
The stage is set. Let's see how it comes out.
Frustrated leader. Simon Finn in second. Landry Potter in the third spot. Over the tail, Landry Potter trying to take up the second spot. Landry won the feature on opening night. Little bottle there. White flag out. This race is going to be in the books. Windows are drawing now. Preston trying to hold off. And Potter on the inside. You got a dash for the finish line. It's Preston, Simonson, Landry Potter, then Hiffman.
That was Tuxedo Fran Preste winning, with Larry Simonson holding off a hard-charging Landry Potter for second and Dennis Hiffman taking fourth. Congratulations, Fran. It was a great night of racing with deserving winners in every division, including street stock champion Dave Tiemann. And sportsman winner, Mike Rice. Winning in the sport truck division was Ed Dunn. Congratulations, everyone.
Well, that's it, folks. Our first double track event of the season, and it was a dandy, full of great performances and a few surprises. We'll catch up with all these folks later in the year when we return to Lake Geneva Raceway and see how their season is progressing. Right now, we're out of time with only enough left to acknowledge the fine work of our award-winning production team, including John Kuchan, Chuck Itzenthaler, Chris Schatz, and Mike Sabatino. Special thanks to JBTV's Jerry Bryant. Music is created for us by Fireside Recording Studio in Westchester, Illinois, and by independent artists Roger Pauly and Jerry Herbert. And of course, as always, we have to take a moment to thank the stars of Motorsports Unlimited: Reggie Lorenz, Marilyn Fuller, Crystal Kuchan, Kim Donahue, Lisa Ford, and our host, Bill Wildt. Me, I'm Carl King, shouting from the rooftops, spring is here! The racetracks are open. Thanks for watching. See you next week.
This program made possible in part by support from ABC Auto Parts, located on Ashland Avenue and 138th Street in Blue Island.
This program made possible in part by support from Tony Izzo's new LaSalle Speedway, located on Route 6 near I-80 and Route 178 in LaSalle, Illinois.
Motorsports Unlimited is produced by Bill Wildt, president of the Motorsport Advancement Crusade.
This program made possible in part by support from Westbrook Auto Repair, located on Franklin Avenue and Doris Street in Franklin Park, Illinois.
This program made possible in part by support from Dependable Carburetor, located on 35th Street, just west of Ashland in Chicago.
This program made possible in part by support from Carey's Collision Center, located in Chicago on 63rd Street, one block east of Central. The Motorsport Advancement Crusade is a non-profit organization dedicated to the preservation and enhancement of motorsport. We are entirely funded by voluntary contributions. For more information, write Motorsport. Oh, you could write the whole thing, Motorsport Advancement Crusade if you like, but mail gets to us just fine, addressed Motorsport, P.O. Box 66242, Chicago, Illinois, 60666. Or just call area code 312-478-4224. We enjoy hearing from our audience and encourage you to call or write.
So that's it, another edition of Motorsports Unlimited and the lovely ladies of motorsports. And be with us next week because we'll have something real exciting. Bill Wildt's going to have the lovely ladies, and just about anything can happen right here on Motorsports Unlimited. Every week at this time, we bring you the best in motorsports. So be seeing ya. Bye-bye. And keep on rocking.